Thank you for joining us today. We're just gonna uh, wait about, I don't know, 30 seconds to let people log into the presentation, and then I'll get started. So welcome this Wednesday morning on Christmas season. Great. Actually, we've got quite a few people just joined us. So thank you for joining us today. Today is going to talk about an important topic, teaming strategies to grow your business. So we're the Monterey Bay Apex Accelerator, formerly PTech. I'll probably stop saying that pretty quick because it's been a year since we've adopted this new name. It's even hard for us to kind of stop saying PTech ourselves. We're so used to it. But locally, we're administered by the Monterey County Business Council. Apex Accelerators that have been around basically formerly as PTAC, but since 1985, and they're funded through the Department of Defense. There's actually 96 Apex Accelerators across the United States and actually in U.S. territories such as Guam and Puerto Rico as well. Some within the state of California. I'll show you in a map kind of where they're at in case you're logging in from one of the counties that really aren't part of our service area. And the mission of all Apex Accelerators is to promote economic growth and increase employment opportunities in the local markets that we serve. And we do that by facilitating your access to the government marketplace. And although we're federally funded, that facilitation applies to federal, state, as well as local contracting opportunities. So here's this map of the state of California that I mentioned. So we're this teal area in the middle of the screen. Central Coast, Central Valley. So if you're in one of these other colored areas, you can either reach out to us, we'll give you a referral to our colleagues, or you can go online and just kind of find them. One of the things I'll add real quickly is just that you'll receive a copy of this PowerPoint as well as a link to the recording so you want to listen to it again. Here on the right are all the counties that are part of our service area. So all Apex Accelerators across the nation, these are the services we provide. Basically, it's confidential client services. First and foremost, it's just one-on-one counseling, getting to know your business, what you've done in the past, what you're currently doing, and then, of course, your goals for government contracting. With that, it's pre-award assistance. So basically, we'll teach you how to go out and find contracting opportunities, help you understand these notices. When you start, identifying by the title of some of these opportunities, once you open up the document, it can be very confusing. So we'll help you kind of navigate and understand really what it is you're looking at. And then we'll help you put together what's called a capability statement. Capability statement is a presentation we do all on its own. But basically, really quickly, what it is it's a one-page flyer about your business that's in a format that was created for the federal marketplace, but now you're seeing a lot of other like large federal prime contractors like to see them, as well as you're starting to see that the state really likes them too. It's just a great way too, as you're networking, to just hand it to someone besides your business card that explains to them what you do. Post-award assistance. So conflicts may arise, so we can provide you some guidance on that. Talk to you about debriefs, what those are, and then whether, like, say, a protest might make sense for your business or not. And then outreach events. As we hear about outreach events, we'll disseminate that information to you and say, hey, this may be something that would be good for you to attend as an effort to introduce yourself to either large prime contractors or to federal agencies seeking to do more business with small businesses. And then oftentimes at these outreach events, we're doing some trainings there. And then, of course, we'll continue to do these webinars. Bid matching is a service that all Apex Accelerators provide. And basically what it is we use the third-party vendor that we work with you, create a profile for your business, upload it into their system, and then their system will literally go out and search thousands of government websites where contracting opportunities are posted. If there's a match between what they've posted and your profile, you'll be then emailed those opportunities. And then certification programs. There's a lot of certification programs out there. There's this alphabet soup here: WSB, Women-Owned Small Business, Disadvantaged Business, Service Disabled, Veteran-Owned Business, 8A Hub Zone. So we can talk to you about whether they make sense for your business or not. The qualification requirements, etc., the supporting documents that you need to provide in getting certified for those programs. One of the great things is where your tax dollars at work, so there's no fees or commitments. Right now, I'd like to take the time to introduce to you Destiny Iglesias. She represents the Merced Small Business Development Center. They're a great strategic partner of ours, and I'll let Destiny tell you a little bit about who they are and what they do.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. As Victor mentioned, I'm Destiny Iglesias, currently the Community Education Specialist at our regional center located here in Merced at UC Merced. As you may have heard, Cal Coastal is in the process of transitioning to a new host. There's around 1,000 SBDC centers nationwide. Monterey and San Benito counties are part of the Central California SBDC network that provides one-on-one free business advising, training, and access to comprehensive resources and information to help businesses start, grow, and succeed. SBDCs provide financial education, business planning, guidance, and marketing tips that can help businesses get started with government contracting of all size, contracts of all size. We find that many of our clients get started in government contracting as subcontractors or with contracts with cities, counties, and special districts. Our services complement Apex Accelerator services, so we recommend signing up for services from both of our organizations, especially since there's no cost to you, absolutely free. So if you aren't already an SBDC client, you can go on our website at Central California SBDC, and the way to sign up for services is there's a green Get Started button on there. And then we'll take it from there. And then with that said, I'll go ahead and hand it back to Victor.
Thank you, Destiny. Yes, they're a great partner. So again, take advantage of them. And again, oftentimes in talking to us learning about your business, we'll say, hey, talk to SBDC and work in conjunction with them and us for maybe some specific things that they're much better at than we are. So let's jump in today's presentation. So here's our agenda. Basically, I'm going to talk some basics about teaming, benefits of teaming, types of teaming, and then important topic is finding teaming partners, then selecting a teaming partner, and then talk a little bit about why finding a partner fails. So let's jump into it. So what is teaming? So teaming really is a lot of things, but basically it's you and another company working together, pursuing a contract opportunity. You know, why team? Basically, maybe the opportunity is just too much for you to handle. So you need to join forces with someone else in order to meet the requirements. Or it could be that, yes, you can do, 80% of what's required in the solicitation, the scope of work, but there's 20% that you don't have, so you team with somebody else to provide that 20%. Who benefits? Basically everybody benefits in teaming. You benefit by being able to participate in a contract that otherwise you wouldn't be able to participate in. Your teaming partner benefits because they're also making money, and then of course the customer benefits because they're getting what they want. Oftentimes you'll see too that in some industries, it's like teaming is just very, very common. And as we go through this, you'll kind of see what I'm referring to. So benefits, a little deeper dive into this. The biggest benefit is, it increases your opportunities, and allow you to participate in a contract. Again, there could be a scope of work where you don't have all of it in-house, so you need to team with someone else to do that. it adds skills that you lack. So it could be just, again, for whatever reason, you don't have the skills. It could just be that there's something that's asked for in this contract that typically is not asked for in the contracts that you perform on. So it helps you bring in those skills. It adds resources. So again, oftentimes you're looking at an opportunity, but maybe you don't have the proper equipment. There's options with equipment. You might be able to just go out and rent it, lease it, something like that. But again, it may make more sense to, team with someone who has the equipment, and then they have the individuals who know how to operate that equipment. If you're in construction, oftentimes having adequate bonding can really restrict the size of a contract that you could pursue. So by teaming with somebody, then that could potentially, increase your bonding capacity that then would allow you to participate in a contract that otherwise would be out of your reach. And then financing, just like bonding, it could be that you need more money to cash flow a project while you're waiting to get paid. So your teaming partner might be able to bring in some of those kinds of resources. Oftentimes with teaming, you may not have a socioeconomic and not belong to a socioeconomic group, such as woman-owned business or 8A veteran, etc. But oftentimes, as you see set-asides for those specific groups, you could be a subcontractor that somebody has one of these socioeconomic categories and participate in say an 8A or woman-owned small business set-aside contract that otherwise you wouldn't be able to participate in. By teaming might be a great way for you to attract potential mentors, and I'll talk more about mentors a little bit later in the presentation. It's a great way to familiarize yourself with government contracting is by teaming. Someone else is more experienced at working with the government. You're new to it. By you teaming with them as a subcontractor, as an example, it helps you to kind of learn the ropes. And then also, it's really important in government contracting to be able to show that you have past performance, that you've sold this product or service to somebody in the past. And so it's a great way for you to kind of develop that past performance if you don't have it. So types of teaming. So the most common that you'll see out there is this top one, where you have a prime contractor and then a subcontractor. If you think of construction is like a really good example of that, where you have the prime, a general contractor, but then they have all these other subcontractors that have specialties that they bring to the job: the electrical contractor, the plumbing, the HVAC, concrete, etc. One thing to note about that, though, is that this prime subcontractor, we oftentimes just kind of think about construction in those types of relationships, but really prime subcontractors relationships are used just about in every kind of industry that's out there. It's real common, as an example, in the IT industry, that you'll have a prime. They don't have all the expertise and all the different aspects of information technology, so they use subs that they can kind of bring in on a contract to fill those gaps that they may not have. Another type of teaming is joint ventures. So a joint venture is actually where you'll form a formal new company, a joint venture of the two teaming partners to pursue contract opportunities. Sometimes it makes sense. I'll go kind of give you an example here in a second. So the mentor-protégé, and you're hearing a lot about this lately, is a type of teaming, but really what it is again, is that you have a mentor who basically works with a protege and basically has committed to helping the protege, grow their business, maybe develop some systems, some skills, etc., that the protege doesn't have. That might make them more competitive down the road. Ideally, if it's, as an example, an SBA approved mentor-protégé agreement, then say the mentor is a large business, by it being an SBA approved mentor-protégé agreement, then that mentor-protégé agreement then can lead to an SBA approved joint venture, which allows the large contractor to participate in, say, a small business set aside, whereas otherwise they wouldn't be able to participate in something like that. So I'll talk a little bit more about each one of these too. And then teaming agreements, what are they and how they use? I put that there, and it's kind of a little separate from the top. Is typically a teaming agreement is agreement that you make with another company that's kind of like a formalized agreement that basically says we're going to go out and pursue contracts together. Ideally, when we identify one that we both agree is something that we want to pursue, then we'll formalize it by one of us being the prime or one of them being the subcontractor, or maybe we'll form a joint venture to pursue the work. But the teaming agreement is used to basically agree between two companies that, yes, we're going to go ahead and pursue looking for contracts and ideally performing them together. Things to consider. One thing is you want to consider whether it's a good strategy for you. You know, a lot of people go into business because they don't want to answer to anybody else. But typically you need to answer to somebody. You need to answer to your customer if you know, you're just by yourself. But teaming can be really good, but again, then the decision making is shared by the teaming partners, and sometimes conflict can arise between the two various teaming partners. So you got to really think about, look at yourself to kind of say, hey, is this something that I think that I can work with? You want to conduct a SWOT analysis. So SWOT, if you're not familiar, strength, weakness, opportunities, threats. So you want to look at yourself and do a SWOT analysis. So what are our strengths? What kind of weaknesses do we have? What kind of opportunities exist out in the marketplace? And what are some threats that are out there that are out of our control but could impact our business? So that way you kind of identify basically areas where you may need some assistance that another company working with you that can kind of help fill those gaps. One thing that's important about conducting a SWOT analysis, you want to do that on your own company, and then you also want to do that on a potential teaming partner so that you clearly understand what they're bringing to the table in teaming with you. Could be that, you know, the same gaps that you have in your company, the other company has the same gaps. So it doesn't necessarily make sense that you want to team with somebody like that, because, you know, you're both trying to fill that problem that you both have. Where are you in the supply chain? One thing that we talk to people about when it comes to just government contracting or just business in general is, where are you in the supply chain? So it could be that for whatever product or service that you sell, the end user, the customer, say it's the government, it could be that what it is that you sell, the government would never buy directly from you. They put out a contract, say a prime contract to if you think of construction, they'll put out a prime contract to a general contractor who then's going to hire the electrical contractor, the plumber, etc. So you need to kind of understand that, so that way you realize, okay, I'm going to be a teaming partner, I'm going to be a sub, so I'm going to be marketing myself to a lot of the primes that I know that are getting these federal contracts. What form of teaming is appropriate? So you need to kind of think about what I just ran through there. Do you want to be a subcontractor to a prime? Should you form a joint venture with somebody else? Is mentor-protégé something that you think you could benefit from? So you want to kind of think about those things. How how much time is available? One thing is that, we'll talk more about this, is that teaming with somebody, especially when you look at, say, like a joint venture or a mentor-protégé, you really want to get to know your potential teaming partner. I kind of describe it as like a courtship process. You meet somebody, you date more, you become committed to each other, then maybe you eventually marry. Well, that's kind of what teaming is too. You need to really kind of, again, get to know your potential teaming partner, depending on, again, the type of teaming arrangement. With like being a subcontractor, it just could be that the prime knows that you're qualified to do the work. They just want your price and want to make sure that you can, do the work. It's a little bit easier, but typically, it takes time to do that. And then this last one is, how will both partners benefit? So it needs to be a win-win relationship between both parties. So consider that, you can't really go into a teaming relationship on, what can I do to just maximize my benefit, but not considering the benefit to the teaming relationship of my teaming partner. So make sure it's a win-win for everybody. So finding teaming partners, a lot of times people will come to us and they'll say, hey, can you help me find a teaming partner? One of the things too is, there's these mentor-protégé programs, most commonly known as SBA's mentor-protégé program. And they think that the SBA will go out and find a mentor for a small business, as an example. But the SBA doesn't do that. It's your responsibility to find a teaming partner. So what's the best way to find a teaming partner is basically your personal industry knowledge. Who do you know that's out there in your industry that you kind of admire? Maybe you've done some work with in the past. That's ideally where you find them. Now, you can do your market research. There's various databases that are out there. So you can kind of, in these databases, use some filters to identify people that are within your industry, maybe located close to where you are at. Some of these databases here, there's USA Spending, DSBS stands for Dynamic Small Business Search. And then the VA, or actually now it's moved from the VA to SBA. I apologize for that. But CVE is Certified Veteran Enterprises. So you can go in there and look for companies using a filter that are in your industry. You can kind of use them in conjunction. So say if you identify a company as a certified veteran enterprise, and in a forecast that, say, if the Veteran Administration has put out that they're going to be procuring product or service that fits in your wheelhouse, but you think that you can be more competitive by teaming, then you can go into USA Spending to look up, say, a company you've identified in the CVE to see if they've been successfully selling to the federal government, especially to the VA. So those are great tools, and we're here to help you to kind of understand these databases, how to use them to maximize your benefit of pulling the information out of them that helps you in your decision-making process. These associations, if you're not part of an association, I would highly recommend, for your industry, I would suggest that, because that's a great way to meet a teaming partner. Through them, you get to know other companies. You find out that they're kind of like friendly competition to you. So then by developing that relationship with them, you kind of then make that decision. Yeah, let's team, and together I think we both can be more successful and grow our businesses. Conferences, same thing. Attend conferences, because that's where you'll oftentimes have an opportunity to meet other businesses. Certifications. Again, you can look up who has certifications, and so those might be beneficial to you, especially if you're thinking about knowing that, say, certain opportunities down the road will be set aside for a socioeconomic group that requires a certification. So you can look at those to see, okay, who's out there that has these certifications. Maybe there's somebody I already know, but I didn't realize that they had this certification. So that's a good way to kind of look and begin to develop relationships as you reach out to different companies. And then, just out there networking, ask your colleagues that in the industry, if they know somebody that might make a good teaming partner, prime, that may be open to working with them as a subcontractor, etc. So this is an important aspect of this. So selecting a teaming partner. So ideally what you want to do is, again, you've done this SWOT analysis on your company. So ideally kind of create a profile of what it is you're looking for. Typically what you're looking for is someone who's already has had some success selling to the customers that you'd like to sell to. And again, maybe somebody who hasn't had that success, has those relationships already established. And then again, maybe they have a product or service that they do that, your company complements theirs, or vice versa. Sit down and develop some interview questions. Again, this is like a courtship process. So you want to be able to talk to them and ask them about their past performance. Have they sold to the government before? If they have, has it been with the local city, the county, the state, federal, which federal agency, etc.? You want to ask them about their strengths and weaknesses, asking them, what do you feel is your greatest strength that you bring? What are some weaknesses that you feel that you might have that, maybe I can help fill that gap? And then references, ideally, you want to be able to clearly understand that they have references that you can contact that are other companies they can vouch for the capabilities, how easy it was to work for them, etc. Then ideally too, what you want to do is identify future opportunities. If you're talking to a potential teaming partner, you want to say to them, hey, there's an opportunity that's coming up. I think it'll be great if we work together. We'll both make money. So that'll help them, to motivate them to working with you, that you've identified something. Again, be willing to share your own strengths and weaknesses. So don't just ask them what theirs are. Clearly understand you've done your own SWOT analysis on your business, and you want to be upfront and explain what those might be. And this is what it's all about, is just building a rapport and trust with your potential teaming partner. So that's why I say it's going to take multiple meetings with potential teaming partner, building that rapport and trust, understanding where you both would like to go in a teaming relationship. This next one is really important, is be prepared to exchange financial information. And I know a lot of privately held companies don't like to exchange financial information, but if you're really wanting to build trust with another company, is that they should be willing to share their financial information with you and yours with them. It's really important, because it would be nothing worse that could happen to you than you form a teaming relationship, you go out, you win a contract, and then you're working on it, and halfway through, your teaming partner says, well, gee, I don't have the money to pay my employees. Can you step in and kind of help me out? And things like that happen. So again, that's why it's really important you make sure that if you're teaming with somebody, that they're financially viable, so that if you take something on, that there won't be any surprises down the road. So why do a lot of these teaming relationships fail, or why finding a partner fails? Let's put it that way. Yeah. Why does finding is lack of preparation. You haven't done that. SWOT analysis on yourself. You haven't really thought about, which kind of opportunities you really want to pursue, those types of things. So really that's the main thing, lack of preparation. You haven't gone out and done a market research on future opportunities. Again, it has to be a win-win relationship. And then if you kind of talk to someone about teaming, but really haven't identified what might be some future opportunities that would kind of help to increase their interest in working with you, then it makes it a little harder to, make that sales pitch to them that it makes a lot of sense for us to team together. This next one is lack of knowledge to where to find teaming partners. So again, it's important that you're out there kind of knowing who your competitors are. Again, especially if it's like a friendly competitor. That's why like belonging to associations, those types of things can really benefit you a great deal. Because again, you sometimes at these meetings, you kind of get to know each other more on a personal level. And then as you get to know someone more personally, then you get to understand a little bit more about their business. And then you can bring up this topic of, hey, maybe we should team on something. You find out that they do you guys do a lot of the same things, but there's a few things that they do that you don't do. And likewise, some things that you do that they don't do gives an opportunity to team together. So really look at continually networking and then associations or anywhere else like that. Not engaging expert advice. One of the things that we see too is people will team and maybe they'll form even a joint venture, but they don't clearly sit down and get expert advice, like maybe hiring an attorney to really help them put together a joint venture agreement that clearly spells out who's going to do what, how people are going to get paid, those types of things. So it really benefits to do that. Not following a process. So that not following a process is kind of what I talked about earlier of, doing a SWOT analysis on yourself, preparing some questions that you want to, you may reach out to say 4 or 5 companies and have conversations with them before you find one that actually you click with, and then you might want to actually develop that relationship, take it to another level. So by not following a process, it could be you meet with someone but you ask certain questions of this person, you meet somebody else, you don't ask all those questions, you ask different ones. It's kind of like if you're interviewing an employee for a job, ideally what you want to do is have a set of questions that you're going to ask every single one, and in that conversation other things will come out, but at least have a set of standard questions that you're going to ask every potential teaming partner. Not developing a personal relationship. So again, the biggest thing, like I mentioned earlier, is the need to develop rapport and trust with a teaming partner. And that happens through developing personal relationships. It's a business relationship, but again, people like to do business with people that they like. So, you want to go in there and realize that the personal relationship is going to be really important in the success of the teaming agreement that you guys decide upon. And this last one, again, is just not identifying the win-win aspect of the relationship. I've seen too often, especially like I've seen with mentor-protégé agreements, people go in there, there's a large business and a small business, and the large business basically has gone in to just take advantage of the small business set-asides that they can now qualify for, and they really aren't helping the small business develop some systems, processes, etc., so that they can be more competitive in the future. And again, oftentimes what happens is the one teaming partner thinks they're going to do, say, 40% of the work, and the other company's going to do 60%, and then they get out there and they start doing work, and you find out that, all of a sudden this company, the larger one, the mentor is doing 90% of the work, and then the smaller business is just getting the crumbs. So definitely don't want to want to get yourself into that situation. It happens. So, but again, work really hard in developing a win-win relationship with teaming partner. So what to do when things go bad? First of all, you want to try to, as much as possible, avoid things going bad. But kind of goes back to getting some expert advice, and then maybe, you know, bringing in an attorney, but, you know, have a plan in place before entering into the agreement. You know, who's going to do what, how is the money going to exchange hands, those types of things. So make sure that you have a plan in place. One thing too is that oftentimes conflict will arise, and you need to have a process already defined on when and if and when that happens. And it happens, you know, if you've been in business, you know that as much as you strive to have everything go perfect, you may have a customer that's just a little more finicky than normal, and things may kind of go a little sideways. That it might be something that's your fault or something out of your control, but have a plan in place of how you're going to address that. And ideally, you have that plan in place written down ahead of time so that everybody knows in advance how you're going to address it. Maintain openness to avoid conflict. So one of the things is that if say your team did something incorrectly, you know, don't hide that from your teaming partner. Maintain openness. You say, hey, this happened, so we're going to take care of it, we're going to fix it, those types of things. But, you know, maintain openness, you know, and that goes for both parties, that they need to do that. Again, it kind of, if you think about lack of openness when somebody gets in a teaming relationship, and then you find out down the road that financially they can't even pay their employees because of, say, a tax bill or something like that. So maintaining openness is really important. And then understanding your role in the teaming arrangement. You know, are you the sub? Are you the prime? In one cases too, I always tell this to folks, is that teaming can be really beneficial to your business. And in one case, you may be the prime, and then you have the sub or subs that work for you. But then on another project, which is a little bit different, maybe then you're the subcontractor and your teaming partner is the prime on that one, just due to the different scopes of work. And in both cases, you're making money and they're making money, so it's good. So just understand your role. Again, and always just be willing to negotiate. You know, things go bad, then that's when you start negotiating of, okay, who's going to take care of this? How do we handle it? You know, etc. But be willing to negotiate. One thing you always want to do is, if things do go sideways and you're having problems with your teaming partner, is make sure that you just finish the contract and learn from experience. Maybe you go in and you thought you were going to make $200,000 on a job, and then when it was all said and done, you only made $100,000. Learn from the experience. Think about, you know, what happened that, you know, we lost $100,000 from what we thought we were going to get, and learn from that so you don't fall in that same trap again. But again, you want to finish the contract, because again, if you don't, especially if it's a government contract, then that'll put a bad mark on you, because the fact is that you walked away from a project. And then, of course, if it goes bad, and just find a new teaming partner. So if you're a sub to someone and you find the prime that you're working with, you know, treats you very poorly, just make that strategic decision. Well, you know, yeah, they're a big company, we thought it'd be great being a sub to them, but we found out that working with their project managers, their leads, etc., that, you know, all they're there to do is really to abuse us and use us, keep as much profit as they possibly can. So you can say, hey, you know, that was nice, but not nice enough for me to go through that experience again. So I'm just go out and find myself a new teaming partner. So again, it's not like you're committed to any teaming partner for life. So here's some common mistakes that we see people make is basically you're just rushing into a teaming relationship. You know, you want a contract, see an opportunity, and then you just kind of just rush into it too fast, and then all of a sudden that's when you find out that maybe they don't have money, or their people are really hard to work with your people, those types of things. So you want to go through that courtship process, or really getting to know the company, their employees, the people that you work with on a day-to-day basis before you all go full blown into any kind of a teaming relationship. Saying that is that basically, the teaming partners are not really understanding other companies' cultures. Could be that like one company might be that, hey, you know, our employees show up at the work site 15 minutes advance. At the top of the hour, we all go to work, and the other company may be like, oh, if they're here within 15 minutes of when we're supposed to start work, we're okay with that. But little things like that can kind of cause conflict. So again, you know, one company may feel that, you know, hey, yeah, it's okay if my guys work 12 hours a day, but the other company may say, hey, you know, after 8 hours, we're out of here, you know. So make sure you understand each other's company's cultures. Again, some may be more rigid than others, and some may be to the point that, you know, you may not consider yourself rigid, but somebody else's more casual approach to the work that they do may not be something that would work with your company. Not discussing conflict resolutions. So again, conflict will happen for just all kinds of different reasons. So you want to, again, talk about how you're going to resolve those issues before they even happen, so that when they do happen, you've got a process already in place. And again, being flexible, be willing to negotiate in any kind of conflict resolution is really key. Not reviewing the financials. So again, this is a big one. I mean, you got to understand that oftentimes just your knowledge of a company out there, it seems to me like you've seen them out there and they're getting a lot of work and they've got a nice name and stuff, but you don't know behind the scenes that maybe the company ownership has made some really poor decisions and spent a bunch of money or a bunch of bills that you're not aware of. So again, once you start on a project, you find out that they don't have the resources to actually complete the job. So make sure that you do that. And like I said, make sure that you're willing to share yours. So that way, again, it's building that trust of saying, show me yours, I'll show you mine. So that way we both feel really good on this. This not defining scope of work, that's one that we see a lot where, again, the subcontractor thinks they're going to do certain scopes of work, and they find out all of a sudden once the job starts that the prime says, oh, no, we're going to do that. So again, you thought you were going to make 200,000, and then you all of a sudden you end up when the job's over, you made 50,000. So make sure that going into it, you know exactly what your scope of work is going to be, you know. And kind of like with that is that if for whatever reason there may be change orders either that you need to ask the customer for, or the customer comes to you with, then kind of a process for that of who's going to do what. But make sure that, you know, it's clearly defined and written down of who's what the scope of work is going to be for everybody involved. And don't rely on somebody's word. Make sure it's written down and documented, because everybody will say, oh, I don't remember saying that. Again, no payment procedures. So again, this is notorious for you think you're going to get paid like once a week or something like that, or once a month when the invoices are submitted, and then you submit your invoice, and then all of a sudden you get some runaround from your teaming partner that they're waiting to get paid and those types of things. So they'll pay you when they get paid, and then you find out down the road that, oh, they were paid 6 weeks ago, but they've been telling you that they haven't been paid yet. So make sure that, again, you have some documented payment procedures so that you don't run into those kind of issues. So here's just a summary and conclusion. I'll take any questions that people have. So we've got 3. Again, it's really important to conduct the SWOT analysis: strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Again, you want to do one on your own company, and then you also want to do one on your potential teaming partner. So, and again, using a SWOT is that every company should be doing a SWOT analysis on their business at least once a year, so they know where they're at, where they want to go, what are the gaps that they need to fill, and then again to kind of look out on the horizon and try to really see like what are the opportunities out there, and what are some things that could affect our business that are out of control. I mean, a really good example of that is when we all went through the COVID pandemic. That was a threat that nobody anticipated, but it was very real, and a lot of businesses closed during that time, but a lot, fortunately made it through, but a lot of them made it through only by the assistance of the federal government coming in and rescuing them. Again, you want to identify future opportunities, constantly looking at forecasts and thinking about, again, doing a SWOT analysis on your business. This is something that you like, but maybe it's just a little too big for you, or you're missing some products or services that is required in that opportunity. But the sooner you find out about a future opportunity, the sooner you can start making a plan of what you're going to need to put in place in order to be competitive and submitting an offer. Use references, use people that first to identify a potential teaming partner. Again, people within your industry, they know other people. So, talk to people that say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. Do you know somebody that's out there? Leverage set-asides if advantageous. So again, it could be that you're the company that has a certification for one of these socioeconomic groups, but maybe financially you're not as strong. So, again, you can bring in a teaming partner to help shore you up a little bit. Likewise, if you're seeing opportunities that are being set aside for certain socioeconomic groups and you'd like to be part of that, you can reach out to the owners of these companies that are certified in these socioeconomic groups to say, hey, I see you've got the certification. These are some of the strengths that we can kind of bring to the table. Is this something that, you may want to talk about more of us potentially teaming down the road? Use legal advice in drafting agreements. So you've heard me kind of say, hey, have this written down in writing and things like that. So I know oftentimes in small businesses, trying to save money any way we possibly can, but oftentimes by not getting legal advice up front, all of a sudden you run into some problems. Maybe you're trying to collect on some money that you feel is owed to you. It ends up, when you hire the attorney at that point, costing you a lot more for their services than if you had hired them in the beginning, to have something written down in the agreement that would prevent some of the things that happen to you down the road. And then again, this last one is just think strategically. Don't be in a rush. So again, you want a team, but think strategically, think long term. How's it going to benefit me? How's it going to benefit the other company? what do I need to do, etc. With that, questions. So I got some here in the Q&A. Let's see. So somebody asked, how can two companies, both construction contractors, increase their bonding capacity through a teaming agreement? Well, that's pretty simple. So say the performance bond is 200,000 and one contractor's performance bond is 150 and another one's 150. If you combine that, that's 300. So then you meet the requirements. Right. So all attendees today's meeting have an interest in teaming. Can you publish a list of attendees so that they may reach out to each other? Well, I don't know who's in attendance here. But the other thing is that I would imagine that there's people that are in this presentation that not from the same industries. And he says, can we create a database of companies that may be interested in teaming with others? And the answer to that really is no. I mean, that's why I stated that really you need to think about who you know in the industry. Do you belong to organizations for your industry, what gives you an opportunity to meet other companies that are similar to yours, to think about it. One of the things, again, that people will ask us is that, can you identify a teaming partner for us? And really, we're like the SBA, we could make a recommendation, but we typically don't do that because really it's more about, again, your personal relationships, trust, those types of things. So that's the answer to that. Somebody asked, what do I mean by association? So again, there's all kinds of, no matter what type of industry you're in, I can almost guarantee you there's an industry association for the business that you're in. So like if you a manufacturer of candy, for example, I'm sure there's like a candy manufacturing association. If you're a construction contractor, there's Associated General Contractors, there's ABC, which I think is Associated Builders and Construction, and then there's a bunch of them. There's some that are like Women in Construction Association, Minority Business and Construction Organizations. There's all kinds of associations. So no matter really, again, whatever industry you're in, I guarantee you there's a association, an organization out there of like-minded people like yours. Do I have a teaming agreement template for two? SBA has some, and I think I do have a kind of a template that you could look at. And again, the teaming agreement is more you agreeing to team with somebody to pursue opportunities. It's not like a joint venture agreement. So, okay, yeah. So somebody says here, they understand now association. So she understands. She goes, I'm in the renewable energy. So again, when you think about renewable energy, there's tons of organizations out there, and then some that might be even really specific where it's could be that just renewable energy in general. Then there might be an organization or association that is just nothing but, say, solar, nothing but wind power. There could be an organization that's just specific to, say, like anaerobic digester type stuff. I mean, but there's tons of organizations that are out there. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions. I know who sent me this one question about teaming agreement, so I'll send you what I have. Again, I just wanted to mention that you'll receive a copy of the presentation, and then you'll get a copy, a link to this recording as well. So with that, I actually, one thing I'll add too is I'm going to do a presentation, put one together that we'll do in the spring that is all about mentor-protégé programs. Most people are aware of the mentor-protégé program the SBA has, but there's actually a lot of different mentor-protégé programs out there. Department of Defense has their own, Department of Energy has their own, NASA has their own. And so talk about mentor-protégés in general, but there's different nuances between the various programs out there. So we'll be doing a presentation on that down the road. So with that, you guys all have a great holiday season. Have fun, be safe, and then we'll see you in the new year. Our offices will be closed all of between Christmas and New Year's. So thank you very much. Do we have one last question? Oops. Actually, we had a few came in here. Right. Let me write these down. All right. Okay. That's it. So thank you very much. And then we'll see you next time.